Good cop, bad cop. Which one are you? In this episode, we're going to explore an opportunity Brody has. We're going to talk about negotiating tactics and using the quote unquote investor committee, AKA your spouse, right? The wife. We're also going to talk about using an LLC to help protect identity and some of the things, blunders that we've experienced there. I'm going to give you an update on cashing my insurance claim check. Going to talking about creative financing in quote the real world. You're going to understand what that means. And today I found $5,000. That's what we're going to talk about today. And if you want to chat about anything here in season 4, send me a text 205-249-0248. This is episode number 185 of the W2 Capitalist podcast.
I used to do it all the time as working with contractors. I made Trina the bad person. I would always, because I learned that from doing construction is like there's always a higher power that has the ultimate reign over everything. So that way you still relate to that person and talk to that person and get things done. But if you had this, far off person or whatever that can, who holds
overrule
the final call, then you can still, get what you want and relate, still be on the same page with them and relate with them and stuff. Little trick of the trade.
I've heard that with people that self-manage properties. They just tell the tenants that I'm the manager, even if they're the owner.
Yep.
Let me talk to the owner and see what he says.
I'm doing that with one of our properties on our fourplex. The property manager that I fired and got copies of the contract, he has my name on all the lease agreements.
Really? Not the LLC?
Not yet. Well, no, it has both. He has J Helms doing business as the LLC. And I'm like, you fucktard.
You screwed that up.
Yep. So
yeah, I had this is why I'm going to do like umbrella policy for everything, but for the next couple of rentals we buy, we're just going to close on our own name just because it's easier.
Yep.
And get an umbrella policy because like I had an attorney set up an LLC, but they like left my personal address on there and I gave him like a PO box to put. And it was just like, wow. All right. Well, it was worth a shot. Here's $1,600. Go fuck off now, or whatever.
you can change it.
Just fucking
Yeah, but
change it.
I don't think it could be a PO box as a physical address though.
So why does it have? So what physical address do I put it on the property itself? Or do I leave it as my house? I don't really care. I mean, if somebody wants to come and fight me, just okay.
Here's a trick to get around the whole PO box. Don't put PO box. Just put unit number and your PO box number.
Oh.
Most people, when they say unit number, like, oh, okay, that's an apartment. No, it's not. I mean, that's how we get around it.
A lot of people use like the UPS
little nuggets,
little boxes, because it's got a physical address.
Yeah, and that's the thing is UPS says if you want to like put it down as a mailing address, like just put it down and we'll like sort it for you. It's another step for the person working behind the desk. So I get that, but whatever.
There's also the group that we use to forward our mail to while we're gone. It's called iPostal. It's like $10 a month for a mailbox. And then when stuff shows up, they scan it in or take a picture of it and say, hey, what do you want us to do with this? Do you want to throw it away? Do you want us to scan it in so you can see the full document? Or do you want us to forward it to you? That kind of thing.
That
Super
is
cheap.
solid. How much is that?
It's like $10 a month for the box. And then you...
Oh, Jesus. I'm getting rid of freaking USPS then.
Yeah.
That's like 200 something bucks for a box. And it's like this big.
And forget UPS. Holy shit. Have you ever priced a PO box there?
Oh yeah.
Yeah. They're crazy. I'm canceling mine this year then. Yeah. The next year, the renewal, it's gone. I'll do that.
Well, I get a scan for my house. Like I get a scan of like what's coming in that day before it even shows up.
Really?
What?
For USPS?
Yeah.
Wow.
I know it's coming before it's coming.
So,
man.
Mobile.
Mobile ahead of the times.
Mobile.
Yeah, this is like the king of that could have been an email, you know?
Yeah.
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 Fucking send me the email. Why do we use paper letters anymore? And again, like direct mail still works like crazy, so,
Yeah.
you know.
Y'all
People
know
still
the
like checking
meme
email.
where it talks about no, I can't fax that to you from where I'm from. And they're like, well, where are you from? I'm like, well, I'm the 21st century. I literally had somebody ask me to fax them something
no.
yesterday.
Oh, dude, come down. Yeah, Alabama's
We're
all
not
about
faxing anything.
No, let's not.
Alabama.
No, I take that back. That was today. Okay. I found $5,000 today. You guys want to hear this?
Yeah,
Yes.
I do.
So I don't know, a year ago when BBVA was bought out by PNC Bank, right? So I had all my accounts were at BBVA. I had done business with them for a couple of decades. And then PNC shows up on the scene. They announced this acquisition. The day they were going to convert everything over was I didn't have access to any of my accounts, couldn't pay online bills for personal business or anything for like 3 or 4 weeks. Right. I had no access whatsoever. And every time I needed something, I would call in. Of course, they're, longer than normal wait times, whatever. I'd go in the branch closest to me. They couldn't do anything. I'd had to go downtown to downtown Pensacola. And I went down to downtown Pensacola and I thought I was walking into a war zone. People were screaming, yelling. I mean, it was horrible. So I made a decision there. I was like, all right, I'm going to move everything. Like
I want to
I'm
scream
going
and yell too.
I'm going to scream. I was like, no. Because I used to be in that role of a change agent, bringing in new software, new stuff. So I kind of get it, but I knew kind of what was ahead for the employees and for the companies. I was like, I'm just going to go change. And apparently, I left a couple of accounts open, and I didn't know this. And we got back, and I kept getting this emails from the people who get our mail. I'm like, why is PNC still sending me stuff? Like, why are they still sending me this? And so I take my statements up there to the bank and they're like, hey, we hadn't seen you in a while. I was like, how's the acquisition going? They're like, yep, still not good. And so I showed them the statements and I was like, I don't know why I'm getting these statements. I thought I'd close these out and showed her both accounts. She goes, no, they're still active. There's this amount's in here. And it was a total between the two accounts, about $5,000. So I was like, I need to close those out.
I'll go ahead and take that. Thank you.
Yep.
Yeah.
So we got 2 cashier's checks, close it out. And then the story I told you guys about the insurance claim where the lawyer wrote the check out to me and BBVA Compass. I took that with me. And I was like, can we do anything with this? And she was like, no, we can't because I can't sign that because we're no longer BBVA. Like it has to say PNC on it or it has to say or assigns, right? So like we do on real estate contracts sometimes. And she goes, the way that's worded, I can't sign it. It's like, that's what I thought. So now the lawyer, I told him kind of what happened. And he's like, well, if you got a mortgage on it, we need to name the mortgagee. I was like, no, you don't. They're not involved in the case whatsoever. Like they don't even know this is going on. It's a bank out of California. Like you mail me a check. What am I supposed to do with it? How are they going to endorse it from California? Do I fax it to them?
Why does the mortgagee have to? I've had a couple insurance claims on rental properties.
I don't know.
I've never had it in mortgagee.
I think this attorney, again, this goes back to the Lloyds of London conversation. These are the folks representing the Lloyds of London. They're being dicks.
Make it super hard.
Super difficult.
Yeah.
So you give up.
Yeah. So you give up, never cash the check. But oh no.
No.
I'm not giving up.
Who they're dealing with.
No, sir.
No quitters in this group.
Maybe you can cash it on the black market.
I was hoping they would cash it today. And then, because I'd already made a request to reprint it and see what they would do. And then, but yeah, it's not going to cash or can't be deposited. The lady at the bank said, look, we can write you something up, says this account no longer exists and we can't do anything with it. Would that help you? I was like, no, it would not. I don't.
Man, I can't believe they wouldn't just do it though. But
I don't know.
Different times.
The whole acquisition thing, I think it's got the employees scared. They're down to minimum staff in that branch. They took away, like, they had like lobby music,
Mhm.
in there. They took that away. So it's like dead space.
Horrible.
They made them take everything down off the walls. There's no pictures or
What?
anything on the wall. It is like gruesome. Like, man, are y'all closing up shop? I probably so, because not everybody, a lot of people left because of how bad the acquisition was. I hate it for them. Nice ladies who live in there, who work in there, but man, yeah, it's bad. But I was super excited. Found $5,000.
Brody, we're already yawning, bro.
Yeah. Sorry.
He's been up since 3:30 this morning.
That's true.
5 o'clock.
Oh, thanks, man. I'll never understand like the crazy. Yeah, I mean, I get capitalism, right? Like it makes sense, but like, why take away
Hopefully,
the music
part of this
and like
group.
keep your customer like I mean, keep your customers happy. Like that's not rule number one. Like,
Yeah.
No, come on, Jamie. They don't need us.
they do though. They just
They-
don't realize they do.
No, they don't need us.
They don't need us.
They're gonna make money no matter what. That's what they care about, making money, not
No,
making.
that's it. That's what I'm saying.
It's such a different mindset there. Because I had the branch manager is the one who has to endorse the check and was telling me, hey, we can't do that. Did we lose Jamie?
No, I'm here.
Sorry, what happened? My
He's
screen.
just he's
all
not
here.
moving.
What the hell
Oh.
happened? But she's the one I was working with, trying to figure out this whole check deposit thing, and making small talk. She goes, "Well, we hadn't seen you in a while. What have you been up to and whatnot?" And I was like, "Well, actually, one of the things that's happened." It's like, if you run into people that you guys can't close who are buying investment properties, and I started telling them about W2 Cap Capital, and she was like, well, tell me more about that process, because I don't really understand it. And I was like, basically, we provide bridge term loans, short-term loans for people who want to buy a property, investment property, quicker than the bank typically can do. And then we work with fix and flippers and stuff like that. And she goes, okay, so you provide funding for them, and then they come over into the real world.
The real world.
I was like, wow. It's like, wow, that okay. Yeah.
It's totally. I mean, people get. I tell
got
people
it.
how I finance properties all the time, and they're just like, "What?
Yeah.
Like, you do what?" It's like, yeah, like I
think
come to
creative
you.
stuff is bad to get crazy.
Oh yeah, it's like I'll come to
Oh, yeah.
you and say, "Hey, Joe, give me a loan for 120 grand, and I'll pay you 12% interest or whatever the number is, right?" And then I take that money and I go fix a property, and then at the end of when we sell it or whatever we do with it, refinance it, I pay you your principal plus interest. And they're just like, people do that? It's like,
Yeah.
all day.
I literally like pitched that to one of the sellers I've been working on for like 2 years. He's just like a really tired landlord running all over the place. I was like, I'll give you whatever you want within reason, of course. If you give me that sweet 2% interest rate again, banks are stupid as hell right now. No
Yeah.
investment properties make a single lick of sense, my partner. And he was like, yeah, it makes sense. He's like, and I'm like, you're just trying to get some retirement for income. Like, when are we doing this? I can give you
Love
a big
it.
chunk of money. It's going to be
Yeah.
really low, but if you
Yeah.
want to do
I'll
it
pay you
the
over
old
time.
2020 way, we talk in 2% interest rates. And I can give you $1 billion for this property. I was joking, of course, but like, come
Dude,
on,
honestly,
man.
though,
And
if
then
like,
banks too. Like that's why we ended up closing. We ended up closing our investment property this year in our own name because like the LLC, even though I have it like seasoned, I didn't have like a tax return for last year, so it's like there's not 2 years of I'm like, it's a sole proprietorship, so it
Right,
doesn't
it's all
really
passed everyone else.
matter.
Yeah.
Like, and they're like, nah, I can't do the loan. I'm like, Jesus. Okay. All right. Well, Sugar Mama, Caitlin was deployed, so we used her, here's the 2 pay stubs, I guess,
Yeah.
You familiar with DSCR loans, Brody?
Yeah, I was trying to find some. I was kind of frantically searching for funding, and this was that one was the first one that popped off and was really smooth. So like,
Yeah.
it was the smoothest one, but yeah, I'm still working on funding. Like, there's this deal that I had come across the table today, and it was another one of those. I just want to pay this thing off of what I owe. So like, it's probably worth 180, 175. And they were just like, just give us 110 so we can move. And I said, okay. It's not quite the 70% rule because it needs 5-10 grand worth of work,
Gotcha.
according to what they're saying. But I'm just like, it's not the 70% minus repairs, you know, it needs to be more like in an 80 or 90 range. So it's just like, how do I, cause they're like giving me 60 grand essentially. If I had all my own money, it'd just be like, okay, yeah,
Yeah.
I'm gonna come out and take a look, make sure I could do this. But yeah, we'll close in a week and then go over here. You guys move out and I'm gonna just clean it up, paint it and relist it,
There you go.
you know, for 165. So I can cool the market off a little bit, you know, and get that thing actually sold fast. But there's like 50 current, you know, 50K meat on the bone there.
Yeah.
You know, if everything is what they say they are, you know, they're like, oh yeah, we had the roof sealed last year. We got a new heating unit in there and all this other stuff. I'm like, seems like a pretty solid. Why don't you just listen? They're like, we don't want to deal with like selling the house. We just want to get it done. I'm like, why not make it a rental? I did the whole thing, you know. I was like, can I just take over your mortgage? They're like, well, we can't because it's, you know, my disability is going to go away if I own 2 properties. And I said, fuck, all right.
Sounds like you
Sounds
got
like you just need to sell. I was
Yeah.
like, all right.
What's your number on that? What makes it work for you?
Like I said, I'm just from what I'm hearing, because like I could use a
90?
kitchen upgrade. So I was like, yeah, at 180 ARV, if you put a new kitchen in there, floors and paint, maybe like 20K rehab tops, I would have to be at like 85.
Offer him
know.
that, man. I can
did.
fund you for
I
that.
said,
He
I
said
said
no.
realistically, yeah, they're like, we owe 110, so we can't do that.
No.
Yeah, actually they owe 115 and they said they'd sell it for 110 if we paid the closing costs. So I was like, shit.
Mm,
Those are the frustrating ones. Like, there's got to be something you can do with those. And I've had a couple of those. You're like 10 grand off. You
Yeah,
know,
and it's
maybe a
just
little
so
more. So
weird.
like,
I'm
what?
just like, fuck.
How do we make that work?
Yeah,
But it is tough when you got to pay off the mortgage, right? You know, and they can't subject to or anything else. But there's a way.
You could get somebody to come in as a second lien, right? They give you 20 to 30, whatever, to do the rehab. And ever how you work that out with them, that's between you two, right?
Yeah, that's a way of looking at it, but it doesn't solve like the seller's problem. Does that make sense?
Well, no. You still offer them 110, whatever the case is, right? And you close on it. And then you've got the 20K to work with from your partner, right? And they're a debt partner, an equity partner, just somebody who's willing to take a second lien position. See what I'm saying?
Yeah, but I don't know a lot of guys that are willing to pick it up for 110 as a wholesaler, you know. And like as a wholesaler, I need to get it even lower than that. I'd be picking stuff up between 50 and 60. So
You gotta make your cut.
I was thinking you were going to take it on as a flip yourself.
That could be one, though. I mean, you could potentially make a rental, you know, if you find a second position equity partner that wants to be in it long term with you, that's willing to leave some money in the deal. You know, you're what's 75% of that?
Of 180?
Yeah. 135.
Yeah.
So you're
Sure.
buying at 110, you're putting 20 in it. You know, you're right there on a cash out.
Jamie, you look like you have the Hitler stash going on.
That little guy. I need to turn. It's a
Brody
shadow,
heard
man.
none of
I
that,
gotta turn it up. Turn my lighting.
was that us? What
Is
happened?
that better? No, it's just I got this little concave thing, and it just like gets dark right there.
It's a shadow.
Yeah, just a little shot.
There you go.
I don't know how to make it go away.
He's got
Definitely
the Charlie Chaplin going on.
Definitely not a Hitler fan.
We'll call it Charlie Chaplin. Sorry.
There you go.
That's right. Y'all should have seen me in college. I used to have the flavor saver.
I can't believe you just called it that. That's I think the first time I've heard that was at CapCon, and you and David were both there talking about that.
Oh, really?
Yes.
That was the first time ever. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Oh man.
Greasy.
Sorry, might have to cut that out.
Please.
No college.
Sorry for dropping my internet off.
Did you hear what I said though, Brody?
No.
So even if you offer them 110 and you put 20 in it and you keep it as a rental, you're at that 75% ARV to cash out refi. Have no money in the deal.
No shit. No, I didn't think about that.
So I know your primary strategy is wholesaling, but don't let a good deal get away that you could potentially hold with no money in it.
Right, but as a
Those are
rental,
the-
it's only going to make like $950.
Could it be short term?
Yeah. See what I'm saying? Might be a like okay short-term rental, but it's also in a flood zone, so that just jacks up those
Ooh.
numbers too.
Insurance, yeah.
Negative Ghost Rider.
Yeah.
Trina
I don't know.
Totally doesn't like buying places in flood zones.
I did. It was a good conversation all around though. Like I think the acquisitions call went really well because like they were like, oh, we're really like 8 feet above sea level. I'm like, yeah, but it's still in a flood zone, right?
Yeah.
One of my better flips
Because
was in a
I
flood
hit him with a
zone.
comp that I saw up the road.
You gotta turn that video
Well,
off.
I mean,
buddy.
I'm not saying it doesn't have legs.
Turn that video off.
Really?
man.
Dude, there's too many people on the internet right now.
You got to upgrade that internet.
Dude, I have it on
Keep those guests happy.
the Gigablast. I have it. It's just
Do you?
Cox sucks. Cox. Yeah. I want them to hear this podcast.
I gotta
Can't wait
Uh,
till
did
T-Mobile
you guys know that I picked up a new
rolls in
sponsor?
hard.
Let's
Oh.
hear it.
Yeah.
It's Cox Business.
Yeah.
Doubtful.
Doubt
Know
it.
your background.
When you leave a review, and I hope you do, don't forget to tell us who you are and leave 5 stars. That's from Dirty Jobs Micro. Listen, guys, if you're interested in exploring any of the products or services that I use to make my real estate investing career easier, or you want to explore joining us in the W2 Capitalist community where you can hang out with guys like myself, Brody, Jamie, and Jeff on a routine basis, there's going to be a link somewhere in the description or comments or something like that, wherever you're watching or listening to this podcast. But as promised, if you have any questions whatsoever, or you feel like I can help you in anything we talk about here today on this episode or any of the previous episodes, send me a text. I was going to say, give me a call, but chances are, if you're not in my phone book, I'm not going to answer. So send me a text. Let me know what episode you're listening to and how I can potentially help you. We'll find a time to get on a call. Okay. My cell phone number is 205-249-0248.